here we are with the basic fundamentals of the partnership firm here. Like while preparing the financial statements of the partnership firm, which all the necessary important conditions that we are supposed to take care of it. So here we will be dealing with actually the some important terms and conditions required to do the numericals or the practical problems. The theory for the partnership firm already we have discussed earlier. Now here in this very particular case, we are going to discuss some important provisions which are to be followed in the absence of the partnership deed or when the partnership deed is silent. The partnership deed is silent basically means suppose if the deed does not mention about these conditions and the criteria, in such a situation what we are supposed to do, this is what we are going to discuss. So the first condition comes here is that is for the profit sharing ratio. So suppose if the deed is silent regarding the distribution of the profits and losses, in such a situation the profits and losses will be distributed equally. This means if in the deed if it is mentioned like three partners are there, so therefore the profits needs to be distributed between them in the ratio 3:2:1. So hence we will be following it in the same way. But if the deed is silent or it does not mention anything, in such a situation, if the three partners are there or more, or even it can be less but can't be less than two, in such a situation the profit will be distributed equally. Second condition is for the interest on the capital. Children, actually, the partners, they used to contribute the capital to the firm. So therefore, it becomes the firm's moral responsibility to pay the interest on capital to the firm. Okay, in such a situation, if the deed is silent about regarding the payment of the interest on capital on behalf of the firm, so no interest on capital will be given to the partners. The reason is because the deed is silent. If the deed is mentioned in the deed that the partners has to be given with interest on capital, then they will be provided as per the rate which is mentioned in the deed. The next thing comes here is interest on drawings. Same situation here. If actually the deed is silent about regarding the interest on drawings, so no interest on drawings will be charged on the partners in the absence of the deed. The next is interest on loan. So children, let me make you clear this. This interest on loan basically stands for here is if suppose the partners, they are advancing loan to the firm. Okay, that means the partners, they are lending some amount to the firm due to some emergency or due to some financial emergency, what we can see it here. In such a situation, it becomes the moral responsibility of the partnership firm to pay the interest on loan to the partners. So the interest on loan in this regard, if it is not mentioned in the deed or if the deed is silent about it, so it's an understood concept that it is to be paid at 6% per annum. Remember children, interest on loan is a charged against the profit. Charge against the profit means it's a compulsory obligation on the part of the partnership firm to pay for the interest on the loan. So the interest on loan payable in such a situation is how much? 6% per annum. Suppose if the deed mentions that actually the interest has to be paid to the partners, means the firm has to pay the interest to the partners just at the rate of 10% per annum or 12%. If it is mentioned in the deed, we will follow that. But if the deed is silent, then it's automatic and an understood concept that we are supposed to take here interest on loan, how much it has to be charged, that is 6% per annum. The next point number 5 comes is salary or commission to a partner. So the same situation like as we have mentioned earlier, if the deed is silent regarding the payment of the salary of the commission, then no salary or the commission will be paid to any partner. But if it is mentioned in the deed that the partners has to be paid with a salary or to be commission, then it will be paid. Remember children, you may get a conditions or the questions where it will be given though the deed is silent but the partners are claiming for the salary, for the on capital and commission. So remember, even if the partners are claiming for the salary, commission, interest on capital, and if it is not mentioned in the deed, then the partners won't be paid with any of these remuneration. Remember this. Now the next thing here it comes is suppose if the deed mentioned that the interest on drawings has to be given. Now in such a situation, now the time duration is not mentioned or it's not clear in the question. For example, the drawings amount has been given, and apart from this, the rate of the interest on drawings is also been mentioned. So in such a situation here it comes is like when the time duration, when the amount is withdrawn is not clear, so whatever the accounting years, its half year will be taken as an average time duration for the purpose of calculation of the interest on drawings. For example, if our accounting year is of the 12 months, in such a situation, in the absence of the time duration, the interest on drawings will be calculated or an average time duration for 6 months. That means while calculating calculating the interest, we need to multiply it with 6 upon 12. Let us assume if we are keeping actually, that accounting year for the 6 months duration, or the firm wants to prepare the financial statements for the 6 months duration. In such a situation, the average accounting period for the calculation of the interest on the drawings, like, if the time duration is not mentioned, then we will be assuming it as how much? That is 3 months. So normally in the questions, you will get it as the accounting year of the 12 months. So if the date is not clear or mentioned about the interest on drawings, remember children, it has to be taken as half yearly or 6 monthly basis. Now the next thing here, we are going to discuss about the accounting procedures that is being followed while preparing the financial statements in case of the partnership firm. So children, the financial statements of the sole proprietorship and the joint stock companies we have discussed in class 11, and you know it, like how it is being prepared here. In case of a sole proprietorship firm, you know that the financial statements like trading account is prepared, profit and loss account is prepared, and balance sheet. We have studied in sequence how to prepare all these three things in the previous class. So here basically in case of a partnership firm, if we'll talk about, the financial statements which is prepared, it has extended even more. You can find it, instead of the 3, there are 5 in number. So the first one that we are preparing in case of a partnership firm, if it's actually a manufacturing concern, it is a trading account. And the next what we will be preparing is, we call it as a profit and loss account. And immediately after a profit and loss account, the next thing which has to be prepared here is, that is what we call it as a profit and loss appropriation account. And after the profit and loss appropriation account, with the another account which is prepared is what we call it as a partner's capital account, and finally comes the balance sheet. So children, so the trading account and a profit and loss account, how to prepare it, that you know it, you have studied in class 11, and you know that the end result of the profit and loss account is called as the net profit or net loss. So immediately after preparing this net profit or the net loss, or after calculating this net profit and net loss, this net profit is being carried forward to where? There, to the P&L appropriation. So let us understand first what is the difference between the profit and loss account and the profit and loss appropriation account. So children, the profit and loss account contains all the expenses and income of the business, and its net results is what we get in the form of the net profit or a net loss. But the P&L appropriation is what? This is actually prepared, that is from the partner's point of view. Partner's point of view means that is actually it only takes into account the expenses and the income of the partners, means what all the payments, that is actually the firm has make to the partners, and what all the income actually from the partner's point of view that the firm will be receiving. This is what we are going to show in case of the P&L appropriation account. So children, the basic motive of making the P&L appropriation is what? That is the firm is actually keeping a separate record for the partners, like how much the firm has to pay to the partners, and how much from the partners in any other form that the firm is P&L appropriation account. Basically it is being made on behalf of the business firm, or basically from the firm's point of view. Okay, the rule for the P&L appropriation is that very similar to that of the profit and loss account. The left hand side always it shows the expenses just like that of the profit and loss account, and the right hand side will be showing the income just like that of the profit and loss account. Okay, but remember the left hand side means shows the expenses stands for what? Like from the firm's point of view, what all the expenses that the firm has to bear for the partners will be shown on the debit side, and on the credit side from firm's point of view, what all the income that the firm will be getting from the partner will be shown on the credit side. So the next is what we call it as what? That is the partner's capital account. Children, whatever the profit we will be getting in the P&L appropriation account, it will be transferred to the partner's capital account. So this partner's capital account, we are making it from the partner's point of view. Remember children, P&L appropriation account, we are making it from the business point of view, from the partnership firm's point of view. But the partner's capital account, we are making it from the partner's point of view. So therefore, at the end of the year, after carrying out the business activity, the partners will come to know about this particular thing, that how much amount or, that is and how much revenue they have finally earned. So just to find out the net result, that how much that the partners are entitled to receive in the form of the revenue. For this very purpose, we are preparing the partners capital account. So the partners capital account, just as we have seen, that is, it is prepared from the partners point of view. So remember children, all those expenses means all those expenses which the partners has to pay to the firm will be shown on the debit side of the partners capital account, and all the incomes which the partners will be receiving from the firm will be shown on the credit side. Remember children, okay, so all the incomes will be shown on the credit side, and and all the expenses will be shown on the debit side in case of the partners capital account. And finally, the last financial statement is what we call it as the balance sheet. Children, the balance sheet will be made in the same way and in the same procedure as we have studied in the class 11th. See, we will be following the format of the balance sheet. Here is the horizontal format of the balance sheet which we have studied in class 11th in partnership, not the vertical one which we have gone through in the financial statement analysis book. Okay, so these are the financial statements which we are supposed to deal, or which we will be dealing in case of the partnership firms, or in case of the business of the partnership nature. Now the next we will be dealing here how to prepare the P&L appropriation account. Okay children, so because we have seen what is trading account, we have seen what is profit and loss account, you know it very well. Now the two things are new here is the preparation of the profit and loss appropriation account and the partners capital account. So before dealing with the P&L appropriation account, let us understand the meaning of the two terms. That's what we call it as actually a charge against the profit and appropriation of the profit. Children, let us understand what's the concept of this charge against the profit. The charge is basically a fixed obligation on the firm, which the firm has to pay at any cost. That's what we call it as a charge against the profit. Means like this amount has to be paid by the firm irrespective of the profits and the loss. So even if the firm is having a profit, then also it has to pay, and even if the firm is undergoing through a loss, the firm has to pay for against the profit. For example, interest on loan, like the partners has advanced the loan to the firm. So even if the firm is undergoing through a loss, still that is actually the partners has to do what, that the partners has to get the interest on loan from the firm. Means the firm has to pay the interest on loan to the partners irrespective of the fact whether the firm is having the profit or a loss. So this is what we call it as a charge against the profit. Appropriation is basically the division of the profit. Children, if you will see here, the appropriation basically is what? That is, it's actually a division of the profit, and it's payable only if the firm is having a sufficient profits to pay for. Means appropriation basically it means a division of the profit. Like actually the firm has got the net profit. Now this net profit has to be shared between the partners in the various forms, maybe in the form of a salary, in the form of an interest on capital, in the form of any other remuneration. Got it here? But actually these appropriations will be done, or these net profit will be divided and will be shared between the partners only if the firm is having the profit. Okay, so in case of the loss, this won't be paid to the partners because the firm will be more into the losses. Okay, so the appropriation basically it means what? It's a division of the profits, and it has to be paid only if the firm has sufficient profits to bear with it. Okay, if the firm has insufficient profits, then no interest on capital and the salary, and this thing that any other remuneration will be paid to the partners, because it will be the personally harmful for their own business. I mean personally harmful for the business of the partners. So in such a situation, if the appropriation of the profit is there, the appropriation of the profit in such a situation will only be paid generally, if you remember, if the firm is having the sufficient profits. Now children, the next we are going to discuss about how to prepare the P&L appropriation account. Now this is actually the next thing we are going to discuss here. We are going to discuss about actually how to prepare the P&L appropriation account. The most of the things we can see it here while preparing a P&L appropriation account is very same to that of what? The profit and loss account. The debit side, as you know, that means the left left hand side shows all the expenses relating to the firm, and in case of the right hand side it will be showing all the incomes related to the firm. So remember children, that is from this P&L appropriation is prepared from the firm's point of view. Okay, because the partners capital account is prepared from the partners point of view, and P&L appropriation account is prepared from whose point of view? That is from the firm's point of view. So all the expenses of the firm, am I right, it related to that of a partner will be shown on the debit side, and all the income which the firm will be getting on behalf of the partner will be shown on the credit side. So remember children, no other expenses on the income where the partners are not related, or if it's not directly related to the partners, won't be shown in case of the P&L appropriation account. So here comes the first is the net profit. Now see why the net profit is on the credit side, because the credit side shows the income, and moreover you know this thing that in the profit and loss account the net profit is shown on the debit side. So when it is transferred to the next side, so it will appear to the credit side over here. But this net profit which we are taking it here, it should be before any appropriations. And before any appropriations means, I mean the net profit which we are supposed to take it here, out of that, you know, no salary, no interest on capital, no any other remuneration should be paid to the partners. Okay children, so even if it is paid, then after that either be taking repeatedly in the P&L appropriation account, okay, or else we can add it back to the net profit. So therefore we can make the net profit before and we can solve the question here. Similarly, if the net loss is there, you know children, it has to be shown on the debit side. Same situation, this net loss should also be before any appropriations. Okay, it's applicable to both. This net loss should also be before any appropriations. So children, we discussed about like actually all the expenses from the business point of view. Now see, you know the concept of the interest on capital. Okay, interest on capital basically means it's an expense for the business, because the partners, they're contributing capital to the business. So therefore the firm has to give the interest on capital to them. So the interest on capital is an expense from the point of view of the firm. So this is the reason it is being shown on the debit side. Mostly interest on capital, if we will talk about, all the partners are entitled to receive. But suppose if the question says that only two partners, let us assume the two partners being A and B, is supposed to receive, so mention that, and let us assume C is also there, but you know, interest on capital need not to be given to the C, so therefore don't mention the name of the C. Next here it comes as partner salary. You know that if the firm has to pay salary to the partner, so it's an expense for the firm. This is the reason it's on the debit side. So two partners salary, I haven't mentioned here you know, A and B or something, like it depends upon whether all the partners are entitled to receive the salary or whether only the few partners. Suppose if all the partners are entitled for the salary, let us assume the name of our partners being A, B, C. So we can write down here as two partner salary A, B and C. Okay, isn't it? If one partner is entitled to a salary, just mention only that very particular partner's name. Next is commission. Commission is also an expense for the firm. The reason is because the partners would have done something or would have taken up some any specific initiative. So therefore the deed would have already mentioned about providing of the commission. So in such a situation, if the partners has to be given with the commission, then it's an expense for the firm, so therefore to be shown on the debit side. Same here children, if it is entitled to all the partners, do mention the name of the partners individually, and if it is entitled just for only one or two or so, write the name of the partners accordingly. Next here it comes as what? Two reserves. Whatever the reserves or the retained earnings that the firm is having, the partners are entitled to receive a share of it. If it is distributed between the partners, then you know it has to be mentioned over here, isn't it? If it is distributed between the three, you do mention the name of the partner, for example A, B, C, and if it is given to only two, you can mention it as A and B, like that. The next thing here it comes is, you know, an income for the firm from the partners or on behalf of the partners. That's what we call it as what? Interest on drawings. So children, remember this interest on drawings, basically it means what? That is actually the partners would have drawn some amount from the firm, so therefore they are legally responsible to pay the interest to the firm, and this is what we call it as interest on drawings. drawings as an income for the firm. Okay, that's the reason it is shown on the credit side of the P&L appropriation account. Suppose if A and B are two partners, both of them they have withdrawn, then let's write down the A and B. Let us assume the question says that A has only withdrawn and B doesn't. So in such a situation, if A has withdrawn, then we will be showing only the name of A in the P&L appropriation. Okay, children. So interest on drawings, as you know the rules we discussed earlier, if the deed is silent, no need to give it, and if the deed mentions, then we need to pay for it, and if the time duration is not mentioned, then we will be taking it as half yearly. So these are the major items, you know, the most of the items we discussed generally which you can see in the P&L appropriation account when you are making. And remember, this P&L appropriation will contain only the details relating to the partners. For example, salary paid to the employee, you know, employees is not a partner, so therefore the salary paid to the employee will be shown in the profit and loss account, but won't be shown in the P&L appropriation account. Okay, so for example, if I say the electricity bill expenses of the business, it's an expense, will be shown on the profit and loss account, but won't be shown where? There in case of the P&L appropriation account. Remember one more important thing, like actually all the appropriations are being shown here in the P&L appropriation, like the charge against the profit. Even there are some charges against the profit from the partner's point of view, which we will be dealing it later. That's what we call it as interest on loan, rent to a partner, and manager's commission. The partner being as a manager's commission or something. In such a situation, like, you know, so some generalized commission can also be there. So in such a situation, you know, that is, it is treated as a charge against the profit, though being related to the partner, but still won't be shown in case of the P&L appropriation account. So children, after preparing this P&L appropriation with this information what we have mentioned here, the next last thing we are supposed to do is we need to balance this. Okay, we need to balance this because, you know, all the ledger accounts needs to be balanced at the end. So therefore, you know, suppose if the balance comes on the credit side, means your income side, credit side is more, and the balance comes on the debit side. Okay, so therefore this balance will be called as what? That is a profit. And this profit, we won't be calling it as net profit anymore over here. This profit, you know, will be denoted and will be written here as to profit transferred to partners capital account. And you know, the profit will be distributed between the partners and then it will be shown. For example, if we are having a profit of 20,000, we got the balancing figure as 20,000 as the profit. So if no information has been given, then we will be distributing the profits equally. So I'll be writing in front of the A how much? 10,000, and in front of the B as how much? 10,000. Now let us assume the question mentions that the profit has to be distributed between the partners as per the deed is in 3:2. In such a situation, out of the 20,000, A will be getting how much? 20,000 into 3/5. So if we will solve this 20,000 into 3/5, that means A is entitled to receive 12,000 and B is entitled to receive 8,000. This is how the profit has to be distributed, or we can say the balancing figure has to be distributed and has to be shown in the P&L appropriation account. While preparing a profit and loss account, you may be knowing about it. We just show the net profit or the net loss in a consolidated value. It's not been further distributed. But while preparing a P&L appropriation account, the value or the balancing figure which we are getting in a consolidated form, that has to be distributed between the partners, whether it's a profit or whether it's a loss. If the balance appears debit side, it will be called as to profit transferred to partners capital account, and if the balance comes on the credit side, it will be called as a what? That is the by loss transferred to partners capital account. Okay children, the next we will be dealing with the practical questions relating to the P&L appropriation account. This is the format we have gone through. Kindly learn these conditions and the clauses mentioned here. Just go through the format very well. It should be there in your brain. Then only you will be able to do the practical question. So now